What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So, Kell Brook and Gennady heading on guys. Golovkin, they met up for the first face-to-face presser, and that was in New York City. A lot of people reached out and wanted my personal take on it. I posted the picture on my Instagram. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at Boxingego. So, I want to give my thoughts. It was a run-of-the-mill type of press tour. Nothing really overly exciting happened to me. Both guys showed up. Triple G was kind of casually dressed. Kell Brook was in the suit, came with Eddie Hearn, so clearly they flew out from across the pond. And they met up, took some promo pictures, said their piece. Golovkin says, hey, I want to bring big drama show to the UK. Kell Brook is just kind of excited for the opportunity, and he wants to shock the world and prove his greatness. So that's pretty much what I seen. A lot of people were asking me, because I do the Ego Weight Watchers and whatnot, they were asking me what I thought of the size differential. And you look at it height-wise, it's not a Curtis Stevens. Like, Kell Brook clearly is about Golovkin's height. He doesn't look too much shorter than him. But a deeper look, I'm still worried for Kell Brook, to be honest. I still don't see him winning the fight because it's not really about height. And it's funny because I talk to people regarding boxing. Obviously, I have a channel and whatnot. And I don't know how you guys view boxing. I just know that a lot of people leave comments. I know I don't think like them when it comes to boxing. They get so like disassociated with the actual facts. Like, let's say Deontay Wilder. I see all these comments about he has chicken legs. Yeah, but to exploit his chicken legs, you have to stay away from that right that'll knock you unconscious. You know what I'm saying? So people get focused on, oh, they're about the same height. It's a great fight. I still see it being an uphill battle for Kell Brook, because he's jumping up 2 weight divisions to fight the #1 middleweight with power. And height really doesn't matter. Like, boxing is so complicated. There are so many variables and too many variables for you to focus on any one thing, especially something height. Maybe if you want to look at a stylistic matchup and focus on speed or power being an advantage for a person, one thing. But height really means nothing. You look at, there's guys like Jeffrey Matabula. He's about 6 feet tall, and he fights at Nonito Donaire's division at super bantamweight. You know what I mean? So he's clearly taller than welterweights. But if Matabula got knocked out by Kiko Martinez at super bantamweight, what do you think would happen if he fought Keith Thurman or jumped up to fight Terrence Crawford? You know what I'm saying? So height doesn't really matter to me. People do this all the time. They look at Pacquiao versus Chris Algieri. I told you guys, and the great thing about YouTube and being a vlogger and YouTuber is it's all there. I don't delete videos. You guys can go back. I made videos, and I made a video, 7 reasons why Manny Pacquiao will destroy Chris Algieri, and I was absolutely right. A lot of people were like, oh, he's gonna outbox him, he's the better boxer, and his height doesn't really matter. You look at things like Pacquiao's experience, Pacquiao's power, how awkward and hard to time Pacquiao is. He's a southpaw. Different things like that. Chris Algieri was a new kickboxer turned boxer. He doesn't have that pro level experience. He had never been in a fight that big. Most of his fights happened in New York, and he was fighting in Macau, China. There's just too many variables to focus on height. And another thing, when it comes to boxing, a lot of boxers that are tall don't even use their height to their advantage. They bend their head down, or they're not using and fighting like tall fighters. So height really doesn't matter. And Kell Brook, even though he was just under Golovkin's height, that doesn't matter to me. It's all about technique and stuff like that. I can count on one hand probably the elite level fighters who are pretty tall for their division that actually use their height and use it well. Like, I would say Lennox Lewis and the Klitschko's. Those are people that come to mind that use their height well. Lennox Lewis is 6'5". You want to come in on the inside like a Tyson, then you're going to have to deal with that jab. He uses his height well. He doesn't cower down. So I'm not really worried about this height thing. Like, Paul Williams was much taller than Maravilla, Sergio Martinez, but what happens when they rematch? Martinez knocked him out. So it's about more than height with me, and I still see it like I always seen it from the fight being announced. Kell Brook is going to have his hands full. He's a good boxer, but it's a difference being a welterweight and jumping up and fighting the numero uno middleweight, who is a good fighter with a good technique and knows how to deliver his power shots, right? Getting hit to the body by a welterweight, Frankie Gavin, versus getting hit by a Triple G. Big difference, especially since the buildup. The last time, to me, Kell Brook fought somebody who was noteworthy and really stood a chance to beat him was when he fought for a title, and that was champion Sean Porter, who had just blown Paulie Malignaggi out of the water. That's a good win, but since then his level of competition has regressed. Now, Eddie Hearn I seen some tweets from him. Someone asked him something about Kell Brook's size, and he's like, oh, he's bigger than Golovkin now. That's still something that they're saying. Eddie Hearn basically said that he was 180 something and he lost 6 to 7 pounds. Now he weighs 176, so he's bigger than Golovkin is right now. But I'm going to break it down a little bit why that doesn't matter. One, when I look at Golovkin versus Kell Brook, size, height-wise, they're about the same. But when you look at how wide Golovkin looks compared to Kell Brook, the mass, it's a bit different. And the biggest difference to me is the fact that Golovkin, we know he's been in there with a few punchers or guys who are bigger, you know what I mean, 154 or 160 pounders, and he's fought them. So we know what he can do at middleweight. We don't know what Kell Brook can do north of 147 pounds. I think he fought one person at 155, and it was a no-name person, so I'm not even really going to consider that. That's the biggest difference. Just to give you guys an analogy, it's kind of like, it doesn't matter that Kell Brook is 176 right now because he has to obviously make weight, so he's going to have to come down to 160. It actually, for his sake, could be a disadvantage that he weighs so much in his off season and he weighs more than Golovkin, and now he's going to have to come crashing down to this 160 mark. And then that he was even going below that to make and struggle to make 147. The body is a complex machine. And the fact that the body, especially when you're, you know what I mean, late 20s, early 30s, your body changes, metabolism slows. So fluctuating your weight, it has to get acclimated and it has to get adjusted to different changes. And the fact that Kell Brook, or Eddie Hearn is saying Kell Brook is 176, that doesn't really matter to me. And here's an analogy for you guys. Let's say you go to Costco. That's where I get my gas. I go to Costco. Shout out to Costco for the gas prices. So I go to Costco, I get my gas, and I put it in, I fill up my car, right? If I'm in stop and go traffic on the freeway, right, and it's just nonstop, bumper to bumper, and I'm just waiting, that's different than going down a desolate road. I had the same tank of gas, right? But I'm going down a desolate road, and I'm on the freeway, and there's no other cars, right? So I'm not stopping. It's just straight shot. You're going to burn more energy being the car that's in stop and go traffic, aka your gas is going to run out quicker than the car that's just more or less the straight shot without the stop. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that with your car when you are driving and when you're in constant traffic or in the city and it's just like stop signs and a bunch of stuff you have to stop for, it seems like your gas runs out quicker. I remember I drove to LA to see Victor Ortiz versus Andre Berto too. Yeah, I drove to that fight. Actually, no, you know what? It was for Gennady Golovkin versus Dominic Wade. I drove to that fight and I actually carpooled for the Ortiz fight. But the Gennady Golovkin versus Wade, I drove out to Los Angeles. California is big. It's bigger than a lot of people think. So I drove from the Bay Area to there. I left early in the morning, and that's a 6-hour drive. It depends on if there's traffic on like the Grapevine or whatever, but it's 5.5 hours if you're lucky. But if you stop and get gas and snacks and anything like that, it's about 6-hour drive, right? And I made it all the way to LA, a 6-hour drive on one tank of gas. Meanwhile, when I'm going to the gym in town, and I haven't been in a minute, but when I normally go, I go, let's say, probably 4 or 5 times a week, right? My gas runs out quick. By the end of the week, I'm out of gas because I'm just this meaningless stopping and pedestrians and street lights. So it's a big difference. So the fact that Kell Brook weighs 170 or whatever Eddie Hearn is saying, I'm not really impressed with that, because the biggest thing is Golovkin, we know he's competed at that weight. He's competed at that weight and he can manage that weight. Sometimes when you're killing yourself to make weight, then you automatically go back to the weight you were, plus you're getting punched by a bigger puncher. It's just not necessarily a good look. Sometimes people get lethargic because Kell Brook was allegedly killing himself. I mean, he's a big dude, so he was killing himself to make welterweight. Now he's not going to struggle as much to make the 160 mark, which is cool. I understand that. However, he's not used to competing. He's used to his body doing what it has been doing for the last decade or whatever, which is fighting at welterweight. Now he's going to have more pounds, and he's going to have to fight 12 good rounds unless he gets Golovkin out of there, which, I mean, again, Golovkin's been in there with Curtis Stevens and David Lemieux, and they couldn't get him out of there, so I don't know if Kell Brook has the power to do that or whatever. But anyway, so he's going to have to be conditioned to go 12 rounds, or at least that's what you should train for. 12 solid rounds with somebody who's the biggest puncher you've ever faced, and you can't gas out, you know what I mean? If you stand in front of Golovkin, you're toast, you know what I mean? Or if you're like trying to have a war with him, you're probably toast. You have to box him, and to be able to move with that added additional weight, sometimes it's harder. I mean, look at the Amir Khan fight, and I do think personally that Kell Brook is more sturdy than Amir Khan. However, Amir Khan has a lot of experience, and he didn't go up to the full 160. He went up to Canelo weight, and furthermore, it's kind of actually a little bit hard to say, because Khan, even though a lot of people think he has a suspect chin, he has a better resume than Kell Brook. So let's say Kell Brook fought Danny Garcia, Maidana, guys that have hurt Khan, Canelo, then we might have seen Kell Brook get hurt too if he fought Canelo at 155, if he fought Maidana in, you know what I mean, when Maidana was at 147, if he fought Danny Garcia or whatnot. I mean, he may get hurt too, but the fact is, the best name on his resume is Sean Porter, you know what I mean? And that's the only person that we have to really gauge how tough he is and his real chin, you know what I mean? Because I believe Senchenko hurt him, and I don't consider Senchenko a world beater. So again, it's an uphill battle for Kell Brook. Him weighing 170 something right now is cool, but you still got to shave another 14 to 16 pounds or whatever and deal with that monster Gennady Golovkin. So as far as the first presser, it was run of the mill. A lot of people hate on Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd Mayweather's pressers they're just like bigger events. Even his ones with Maidana and Canelo and stuff like that, they're just huge events, not just the Pacquiao one. So, I mean, that's it. That's really what I've seen from it. Kell Brook has an uphill battle. If he thinks he has a shot, he's going to have to box smart, stay out of trouble, stay away from the body shots. I'll probably get around to doing the 7 reasons on this particular fight. But when I look at them next to each other, Kell Brook, again, doesn't look as short as like a Curtis Stevens. But see, this is the other thing with the height. You look at it, Curtis Stevens, out of the whole bunch of Golovkin fighters, Curtis Stevens was smaller. Like when I seen Golovkin next to Martin Murray, Murray looked big. He looked much bigger than Golovkin. Ishida was much taller. But what happened in those fights? You know what I mean? Martin Murray, he didn't do as good as Curtis Stevens, the shorter fighter. Ishida got knocked the hell out, the taller fighter. You know what I mean? So it's not about height, really. Curtis Stevens was smaller than all them dudes and arguably put up the best fight with Golovkin, from what I seen, you know what I mean? Because he actually backed up Golovkin before getting stopped. And then he did that after Golovkin knocked him down. So I still feel the same way about this fight. Kell Brook versus Triple G. Big uphill battle. It's the daring to be great season, I guess, where everyone's going to do it. The thing I don't like about it is the daring to be great. You almost try to put yourself in a win-win situation where you, like, I don't want to hear any excuses. If Kell Brook gets knocked out, then I don't want to hear, oh, the weight was too much because you said this was your middleweight. Because Amir Khan, see, some of you guys don't, I cover boxing. Amir Khan said the same exact thing. He said, who knows, maybe Amir Khan is a full middleweight. And he was saying all this stuff, how he's killing himself to make welterweight, and it didn't feel good. And now you're gonna see a stronger Amir Khan. He was saying all of that same stuff that Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn are saying to help sell the fight and stuff like that. So I hope Kell Brook is ready for what type of fight this is. I can't count him out wholeheartedly, but I really can't see him winning given the situation. Maybe if he cleaned out welterweight and proved that he could take even an Errol Spence's punch or Keith Thurman at that weight, then I might be a little bit more like partial to giving him a chance. He's a great welterweight. I just think the weight is the biggest difference in that you don't have pro level elite experience like a Golovkin. And see, this is the thing. I've been making videos regarding this fight, and I speak my mind, and that's never gonna change. I don't care who it is, you know what I'm saying? And people are saying, oh, you hate Golovkin. No, I actually like Golovkin. That's why I want to see him in fights that show me more about him, you know what I'm saying? And if I didn't, I wouldn't consider it such a mismatch if I didn't rate Golovkin. If I didn't think he was a good fighter, I'd be like, oh, this is a fair fight, right? But the fact is I do rate him, and I do know what he showed us so far. That's why I want to see him in a fight that, like, you look at, here's a good comparison. You look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather gets hated for being skillful. Floyd Mayweather is the favorite to beat just about anyone around his division, in his division, and that's based on his skill. He's not normally the younger fighter. He's not normally the bigger fighter, right? Look at Floyd's last couple fights and tell me who was younger and who wasn't. Or tell me the time where Floyd was younger than his opponent in recent memory. Pacquiao was younger than Floyd. Berto's younger than Floyd. Victor Ortiz is younger than Floyd. Maidana's younger than Floyd. Guerrero, Canelo, all these guys are younger than him. I think Cotto's younger than him. And then you look at size. Most of those guys, mostly everybody that I just named, was bigger than him. We haven't really seen Golovkin in those same predicaments where guys are bigger than him and most likely stronger than him. You know what I mean? They may be younger than him or bigger than him, but they don't have power. Like Martin Murray's bigger than him, but he don't have no power, right? You look at Ishida. He's bigger than him, but he's a 54-pounder with no power, right? Look at his knockout ratio. So that's the biggest difference. With Golovkin, I need to see certain things based on his skill level, and I could see, and it'll help me associate where he really is. If he fought, like the fight I really wanted to see, and I had no problems with it, and you guys check the old videos, is Carl Froch. If he would have fought Froch, that would tell me everything I need to know about Golovkin, because Carl Froch is no pushover, and stylistically that would have been a great fight. You know what I mean? That's not someone that's going to go easy. That's not someone jumping up 2 weights to fight you, things like that. But we'll see. Again, the funny thing is, when I make the videos, people always say, oh, you're hating, this is a good fight. If it's such a good fight, how come nobody is picking? And ever since I said that, I've seen some people in the comment section like, oh, Kell Brook's going to win. That's cool, but this is the new media era. You can't just say Kell Brook's going to win. Anybody could do that. Anybody could say Kell Brook's going to win. What is he going to do? How is he going to win? You're not even telling me how. Is he going to knock Golovkin out? Is he going to win a majority decision, a split decision? What technique, what game plan is going to coast him to the victory? You know what I mean? Anybody could just say a random name. You know what I mean? It's a fight. It's only 2 people, mano y mano, so it's a 50-50 chance that you have an opportunity to be right. So I don't care about that. I want to know how he's going to win. If someone were to ask me about, hey, Ego, you said Andre Ward beat Sergey Kovalev, I'm going to tell you the skill set, the patterns, the history of things Andre Ward has done, things Kovalev has done, things that Kovalev may be susceptible to, and I'm going to break down the fight. I'm not just going to say Ward and just leave it just a blanket statement. Anyone could do that. I'm going to tell you what skill set, what Ward brings to the table, why I would pick him, even though he's the guy that's newer in the division. And that's the difference. Let me know what you guys think. Kell Brook, is anybody picking Kell Brook over Triple G, and why? That's my commentary on the first ever NYC Presser, Golovkin Brook. Let me know what you guys think. The other good thing, I will say this is the good thing about this, is HBO is putting a lot of stock into Golovkin. I see it, and it's good because it's not making him out to be like, his fights not on pay-per-view versus all of these fights Canelo's making like some suspect decisions, and he's more to blame for his suspect decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like the Liam Smith, why are you fighting him, why are you fighting Khan? And those fights, for whatever reason, HBO is forcing them to be on HBO pay-per-view. Like, I wasn't okay with the Khan fight, which is why I made the 7 reasons why Canelo Khan shouldn't happen. But if it was on regular HBO, I wouldn't have minded it as much. But the fact that you're trying to sell me a mismatch makes it worse. So that's the good thing is, I mean, it's unfortunate for the UK fans for Golovkin and Brook because they got to pay. But the UK fans are loyal. I think y'all are used to paying it. It'll be like Kevin Bezier, Jojo Dan, and that'll be like a pay-per-view over there. But at least for us Americans, it's no pay-per-view. So that's what I do like about Golovkin Brook. I can just watch it on regular HBO, even though I think it's a mismatch. Drop in the comment section, share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
Not respect to boxing. No, not respect to fans. And last fight with Can, you know, the 2 division is down. 2 division is down. 2 division is down.
2 division is down.
This is not respect. This is business fight. We need like true middleweight fighter.
Yeah. What about Kell Brook?
Kell Brook?
He said 157 he'll fight you.
I think he's too small.
Too small?
Too small, yeah. You know, my focus on 160, middle division right now. Kell Brook, or everybody just trash talk. You don't feel it, then it must be too real to touch. You'll never in your life try to knock the truth. The illest shit ever. Get ready, 'cause this is about to get heavy.
Trying to keep me out, trying to censor what I say, 'cause they don't like what I'm talking about. So it's wrong with the media today.
Prove I'm lying if I ain't correct.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.